Okay, hello. We are welcoming you to our bite-size sessions. This is our senior management team, Sam Acton and David Holland.
Hi, good afternoon. It's afternoon here, so it was good.
So we're Domestic Angels franchise business, and we're here to answer some questions about any questions you may have. We're going to run through a few things today. One of them on our agenda is a little history about who we are and what we do.
Okay.
And what makes a good franchisee, what your franchisor will do for you, and at that point we'll probably get to some questions that you might have. So we've only got half an hour, so I'm going to keep it moving along, and I know Sam and David can talk, so I'll kind of stop them and tell them that's enough, we need to move on. Okay,
and hi Martin as well, welcome.
Oh, hi Martin.
Welcome.
Hi there.
Yeah, sorry, did I join in late? Did I think it was.
You're absolutely fine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely spot on.
So Sam, do you want to just Sam and David, do you want to just take us through a brief history of Domestic Angels? What came about? What was special? I know, Sam, we've got some interesting information up our sleeves about.
Yeah, okay, so Domestic Angels originally started in 2002, so it's a very long history, so to get this in 6 minutes is a little bit difficult. So in short and fast, started in 2002 as a solution to a lifestyle problem. I walked away from corporate world, child more important, you know, the usual story that you hear. And the business grew. It grew slowly because I was thinking about it for so long, because I do think about things quite deeply. And slowly but surely it kept growing and growing and growing. And I had this model that was shaped like this. And by 2013, we became the National Home-Based Business of the Year, at which point I actually accepted that I was business owner, because it hadn't occurred to me before then. I was just doing what I needed to do, but I'd actually grown something quite sizable and that was becoming quite sophisticated. Then we needed to decide what to do with that business model like this, because it was becoming so big. Our mentor, Martin Spooner, said, I think franchising is the way forward to convert the business. I said, that's the F word, don't talk to me like that. And then he spent 6 months convincing me that franchising was a really great idea and that we could do it in the spirit of our character, our ethos, our moral framework, which was the really important thing to me, because I had perceived and seen a world in franchising that I felt was like an ocean full of sharks, basically. And I did not want to be one of those sharks. I want to be who we are, with the character and the goodwill and the good customer service and focus that we believe in, and the innovation that we believe in. So we became the live client of the MBA cohort at Bournemouth University, who assessed Domestic Angels and assessed the marketplace, analysed me and everybody else around, and they basically came up with 12 reports with all of the lovely risk registers and things that they get into. Luckily they use traffic light systems as well for people like me that don't know what they're talking about, and simplified the message. And basically overall it was a load of green lights, go go go, do the conversion and that'll be fine. So we carried out the conversion. We did it in-house because we believe in ourselves and believe that we are capable of learning and innovating, which we did. We've come up with some very innovative processes to support the franchise system that don't exist in a lot of franchise setups. We interviewed a lot of people to find out what they liked, what they didn't like, to support this. And the upshot is then we converted to franchise, and you know, here we are now. Let's say we're about 3 years of franchising in, because we've lost 2 to the pandemic, one way or another, in terms of growth, either trading or growth. With the 5 management franchises, because it's a management franchise, because I ran the existing business in a management method, which means that basically as the owner or the franchisee, you're not expected to be on the tools. You are meant to act as a manager with a supervisor, or covering the roles yourself, or a couple of supervisors. In my case, I had 3 supervisors, and taking it forward. So it's really good fun. It's all about growth. It's all about customer service. It's all about organisation. And it's got a lot of energy to it, because it's completely focused on human beings. And funny enough, human beings are not robots. So there's always a bundle of stories and colours to to encounter on a daily basis. That's where we are today. So that's the very brief history. Of course, there's far more to it, but it gives you a very quick overview. And today we have a different senior management team to 5 years ago. We have David, who's based in Luxembourg, who has a huge, gargantuan amount of business knowledge and keeps us on track with that expanse and breadth. And we have
It makes you sound very old, doesn't it? That's all.
maybe you are. Let's discuss that another time. And we have Liz, who brings a lot of energy and obsession with getting the right people in our team, which is really, really important, because we're not in the business of bringing people on board who are going to fail. We're only interested in success. 2 reasons. 1, people who are not going to succeed take up a huge amount of our time, but also it damages our reputation. And we have spent nearly 20 years building this reputation and creating this business. So protecting those 2 things are really, really important. I think that gives a bit. Is that a brief history enough? Is there anything that you need?
Well, I know we can
In a
talk
brief
about
history.
this.
Am I there?
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, there's some interesting points which I'll ask questions about at the end, probably. David, do you have anything to say? I mean, you've been with
Well,
Sam
only
for a
to
while.
say, I mean, obviously, I'm sort of in more of a support role in the business. My background is franchising over in the US and the UK as well. And I think I know lots of franchisees, franchisors. And Sam, you and I, we connected some time ago. And one of the differences is, I think, that there is this, spirit and passion for the business, from the people business. I see other franchises that are very much more, totally money growth oriented, only at the expense of everything else, including reputation and service and people. And that's something that for me stood out. So my role is to support and help the team and the franchisees as well. And for my little office over here in Luxembourg. But no, I think it's a unique, I'm biased, obviously, but I think it's a unique franchise with great opportunity. That's my outside view.
Brilliant.
We'll take that.
Well, I'm going to move on to the next subject, which is what kind of person makes a great franchisee?
I think David should answer that question.
I think you might have come over to me. About having been I've been a franchisee and a franchisor when we're in the franchising business as well. I think from a franchisee perspective, it's quite a fine line. When we were recruiting franchisees, just to give an overview, we would get sort of 100 applicants coming through, and we'd only get 1 or 2 that became successful, not because of their sort of background or academic ability, but it's mainly sort of personality and their approach to things. So a good franchisee, I think, for us in Domestic Angels as well, is somebody who is fundamentally service oriented. They've got to sort of like people. They've got to want to be in that sort of service mindset, the ability to follow instructions, work a system. We're a franchise, so follow a pattern, a proven method and proven system, but also have the strength of character to manage the business. It's a management franchise, not on the tools, to manage the business, take decisions, and not be, we're not going to micromanage a franchisee. They are independent business owners in their own rights with a fabulous framework. So it's really a balance between following a structured pattern system and having the entrepreneurial flair, because within the franchise territory, within that territory, a franchisee within reason can sort of do what they like when it comes down to working with clients, attracting clients and giving that sort of service. So I think it has to be it's a reasonably independent free thinker to a degree, but again, somebody who will follow the system and not just make it up on the spot. So it's a fine balance, really.
I think that's probably something that's quite attractive about franchise. Although there is there's a sort of set way to do things, it does allow you to be creative in so many different
Absolutely.
ways and have the support for your creativity. Because if you have an idea or something, you sometimes you don't have any backup, you just have to run with it. But franchising gives you backup from your ideas. You just say, okay, well, actually, we all think this is a great idea, run with it, go with it.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to have that backing, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the other thing that I look for in franchisees are and it won't be in everybody, but I need a good selection of people who are innovative in their thinking as well, because I'm very much up for embracing contributions and thinking. You know, we've got a very established business. It's always evolving. I recognize that it needs to continue to evolve in order to thrive and survive. So I do like to have that input. I like people to say, why do you still do it that way, by the way? Because why not ask that question? I think it's a really valid question. So yeah, I like that in a person as well.
Great. Okay, moving on to the next subject, which is what your franchisor will do for you. So what can it, if I was going to come into, you know, your business as the new Domestic Angel franchisee, what can I expect in return? What can I expect, support and?
Okay, so I'll try and do this quite briefly, so it's a bit high level. So from the get-go, at the point of signing the intent to commit, there is a process that begins. The first bit is about a business plan, which takes place with our accountant to make sure that you're getting the targets you need to have the income that you need to pay your mortgage, that or your rent or whatever it is to be able to live. That is key. We need that needs to happen.
And so you actually have somebody in place to be able to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's our accountant. So that is a private conversation. That's none of my business. I don't need to know what you pay for the roof of your head or the beer tokens you need each week. That's private conversation. What I need to know is what those targets are, so that I can assess them and see that they're realistic, and that I believe that you as an individual can achieve those targets in the time scale given. So, and then we start writing the marketing plan. So then when the franchise agreement is actually signed, another set of things go into place, which is the training. So there's customer service training, it's training on our software, which of course we built, and because we can do anything. There's training on how to manage your franchise, how to onboard customers, how to do the marketing. We set up the website page for you, and we set up the social media page, but we're going to do some training with you to make sure you're happy with that, and make sure you're happy with how we deal with social media, which is, as you can imagine, an empowered relationship. There's some other training modules which I've forgotten off the top of my head, but then it clicks into a 90-day intensive mentoring plan. So what we're doing there is making sure that each franchisee gets an accelerated push to achieving the goals. So we're going to be talking on a very regular basis. It's going to be weekly, possibly twice weekly, and helping to make sure that those goals are achieved. Because as I said in the first section, success is really important. Making sure that our franchisees invest and actually get what they came in for is so important to me, I can't tell you. So we need to make sure we are totally behind you, behind every franchisee, making sure that those targets are hit and that things are going in the right direction. Because it's just like somebody will ask you a question, think, well, what does that mean? We can give you all the training in the world, but we do know that you're humans, and you think for yourself, we've been doing this for years, let's have that conversation, and we're always going to learn from it, and we really enjoy it. More to the point. So yeah, it's a really hands-on thing where we're going to be talking every week. We're going to be assessing how many new clients you've heard from, prospects, how many clients you've converted, how the surveys are going, what you've got booked in, how your staff are coming on board, all of those things on a very intensive basis during those first 90 days, at which point we let you spread your wings. But if you need it to extend a bit longer, then we will, probably not quite such an intensive pace. Or if you find your feet much sooner, of course, we're going to step back a bit. It doesn't mean that you're being denied, deprived, or mollycoddled in any way. We just happen to be in a culture that allows us to deal with human beings. And that's not just the franchisees, that's their staff and their clients. It's what we're all about.
Yeah.
How big is Domestic Angels then? How when you say you've got this intensive training program, I mean, how many people are involved in that? I mean, I presume it's the size of the organisation.
To deliver it, you would probably have the three of us delivering it. And in the training modules up front, it will be us three. Then we have a couple of experts, Lindsay and Simon. Simon is our customer service expert. Lindsay does more sort of like mindful type stuff. to make sure that you're on track. So you will always have a different sounding board.
Right.
You're not hearing just the same voice, and the same pair of ears aren't always hearing you. So you get a good rounded perspective on what's going on, a rounded conversation.
Right.
Okay. Great. So and the support you mentioned each week and everything, but that's not just each week. It should a franchisee need to contact you at any point for anything. Is your door always open for them?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As are the other franchisees. So the franchisees help each other a lot. It's like, oh, I just need a chat, and that does really work. Or have you come across this, or can we collaborate in order to achieve this goal? And stealing with pride each other's social media posts.
I was just going to bring that up actually.
Very popular.
Yeah, social media can be a bit of a, it's a massive tool, and people do struggle with it. And so it's, and to come up with ideas constantly must be really hard. So to be able to have a well of information and a well of ideas and pictures and things like that must make life
well, there's a whole suite of posts that a franchisee can use
to
do their marketing. And when a franchisee launches, we actually invest into a marketing campaign to get in right behind the franchisee anyway, which is, that's worth a couple of grand in itself. We don't expect the franchisee to put their hands in their pockets for that. We do it. That's how much we believe in the model.
Great.
I think for the support who delivers it, what do people get? I think it's part of the mindset of somebody buying a franchise. Well, why do they buy a franchise? Why not do it themselves? Because there are a lot of franchise businesses out there in different sectors. Why not open up a burger restaurant? Why buy McDonald's, whatever it is? And I think the reason that people buy a franchise, or the expectation, is that it's more safe and secure. It's got a proven model, proven track record, and success is more likely. But also there's that support. And one of the key things, I think, because I doing what I do, I see this a lot, where starting a business yourself as an entrepreneur is a lonely place to be, because you're sat there in your back bedroom on your laptop with a telephone doing whatever you've got to do without any systems and support. And having been a franchisee as well, that was a very powerful construct. It didn't have to use it a lot. The fact it was there, being part of something, part of a team as well, where you're on the end of a phone or an email support, and we have the weekly calls with the franchisees as well. And I think this is the sort of thing that gives that value to the franchise offer over and above, doing it yourself, which anybody can do, but that's where the value comes from, in my experience.
Right.
Yeah, definitely the community and combined experience is really important. A couple of the franchisees, we talk with them every Monday morning.
Yeah.
Owner said, what did you manage last week? What are you doing this week? And that's not because they're behind. They actually really enjoy it. And we all learn from it. We all gain from it, and we come up with ideas. So I just think it's really worth the effort. I really think it's worth the time. And it's so enjoyable to hear how much progress they're making. That's one of my favorite things. And of course, we got their supervisors joining now, so that they're becoming more part of the business family too, so that they can express that in the way that the territory they operate in is evolving. I think it's great. And then everybody is growing, which has got to be a good thing, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I think when they do come along problems, it's really nice to be able to sit there and solve these problems. I mean, we had one the other day when one of the franchisees had a problem with something, and you just unpicked it, talked it through, sorted it, and by the end of the conversation, she was feeling happy, and she must be feeling also happy that she's picked franchising, because in another situation she'd be, it's on her shoulders, she's tearing her hair out, she's got this situation, she doesn't know how to deal with it. But with Monday morning's conversation, all done and dusted by the end of the day. Brilliant.
Peace of mind, enjoy your week. And that's possible because we have got so many years of business experience between us, and specifically within the Domestic Angels arena, we've done it all before. We've seen it, we've heard it, and we're able to guide and say, look, do you know what you've just told us about that client? They are going to mess you around. If we were in your shoes, we'd cancel the contract, quite frankly. Save your time, have peace of mind. By doing that, your energies will allow 2 or 3 new clients to come in who are much nicer and much more up your street. So it's being able to have those conversations and give people the confidence in business to be able to blossom and succeed. That's fantastic. I'm just so not a secret X Factor fan. I really am an X Factor fan because I love watching people succeed, grow and move on. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so should we have any questions